What the heck is going on out here? April has more energy.
I wanted to get I can still see a little, I used my hula hoe that I brought from the US, and they had them here, but
Little smaller ones.
smaller.
Not
and
smaller.
when we were here last year in summer, they didn't have any more, so I'm glad I brought it. It was good. I used it.
All we had to do is buy a handle and
Yeah.
attach it to the handle.
I took off, and this is not as thick. It was pretty thick right here.
Not really what a hula hoe is intended for, but it really works well.
Yeah, just wanted
So,
to get it to where you could kind of see that there's like a little, I think I'm gonna use vinegar to fill the box.
Oh yeah.
Just because I think it's a pretty feature. There's some shapes in the, oh, I gotta get that right there still. There's some nice shapes, and then I dug out against the stones so that there's more of a variation. I don't know, just thought it would look cleaner and neater eventually, but not right now. I'm gonna
Absolutely.
take care of all this. And then sweep it again. It's so funny, look at all this came off. All this moss and stuff on it. This
Yeah.
is all on the stones. So
There
it
you go.
worked, it did a good job, and I think it's gonna look real nice once the moss dies.
Yeah, absolutely. So you put a little rock.
Yeah, I haven't put the back one on there yet because I'm just gonna do a thing.
Rock border on your hydrangea. Make sure that,
Just so that Didier doesn't accidentally.
yeah, our gardener Didier comes by whenever the lawn's a little too long, and he just kind of does it, and we don't even know it.
No,
But
he just tells us
yeah,
how long it took.
and
I'm excited when he does the big backyard.
yeah, I'm gonna.
As it should. Love it there. I'm gonna.
All right, I'm trying to fulfill a request that we had that was to outline some of the services that we have in the house. And this is our Linky meter. Pretty much every house in France has a Linky meter. It's essentially our electric meter that shows how much electricity we're using or that we have used. I think it also connects to the power company, and they automatically just know how much power we're using. There's little scroll buttons here that you can kind of go through and see how much you're using, as well as your account number. There's also a main sort of switch here that turns the power on and off for the house. I have had that breaker trip, and it was tripping because I didn't have enough allocation for our house, and so I asked for the allocation to go up. Basically, we were using too many appliances at once. Have the hot water heater go on, have the stove on, and plus, numerous electric heaters on, and the whole house would shut down. So I asked for that allocation to be higher so we could have more appliances running at once. So that is the Linky meter and the main power disconnect. We also have the circuit breakers for the house, and I've started labeling some of them because we've had problems with the kitchen wall. It went out one time, and these are essentially just little, let me pull one out, little fuses. And so they're little fuses, and I had to buy an electric meter to make sure I knew how to make sure I could check them and replace them when one would go out. But essentially that's the fuses for the house. This is the old panel, and in our house we have a second panel, and it is over here. Oh, correction, this is the old panel, and that one was the new panel. When they rewired some of the upstairs, they added this second panel so that we could have power, more plugs upstairs. So throughout the house, there's these receptacles here, and they're embedded into the walls, and we have several of them. Of course, there's just two wires, a power and a neutral, And there's several of these plugs throughout the house. There's one back there as well. And we typically run our heaters off of those. We have several of these radiator heaters that we turn on. Sometimes we just turn them on halfway so that, we can have power, or heat throughout the house. But when it's really cold, we turn them on all the way. Hot water is also heated by electricity, and this is the hot water heater unit. I actually replaced this unit almost, I think it was like the first week that we got into the house. The old unit started leaking and failed, and so I ended up putting a brand new one in, but it's a little bit bigger, but it's essentially just a electric hot water heater. A little bit different than the United States, as it's mounted a little higher, and it's mounted directly adjacent to the shower. And that's really common in France, that we have hot water heaters right in the bathroom, unlike the United States, where there's a common hot water heater for the entire house. And of course, our stove is electric, and our refrigerator, of course, but the stove is electric, and it's just your standard glass top hob or range and oven. There's actually a convection feature on that one. And again, we have a hot water heater that's near the source for the washer and for the sink, as well for the clothes washer, which is of course in the kitchen, as most Europeans have their clothes washers in the kitchen, so which is pretty much different than the United States. And also another radiator heater here in the kitchen, which it's a really nice day today, so no heaters are on right now. As far as a clothes dryer, well, there it is. We actually use a clothesline in the United States as well. Sometimes in the wintertime we do use our electric dryer, but for the most part we are pretty energy conscious, as well as it's a lot easier on your clothes to just dry them on the line. So there's our clothes dryer. The other thing that was really nice to find out when we purchased the house, and I believe this little white box here is the sign of it. Somebody can correct me if you want, but that's the sign that you have fiber internet, and you can see the wire. Let's see here. It goes into the house right there. That's our fiber internet that goes into the house, and the guy had to come out and drill a big hole into the side of the wall, and then he sealed it, which is, I guess, pretty common. But that is our Wi-Fi, or our fiber internet, and the service we use is Orange. And of course, these are our electric lines that are going through our little community, and our electricity is provided by EDF. So the wire comes into the house for the fiber internet, and it comes into this little Orange. It's not Orange is the company. It's got orange lights, but it's our fiber optic Wi-Fi box, and essentially provides Wi-Fi signal throughout the house. So it's kind of a standard Wi-Fi box. We do have a TV, and we just use the Wi-Fi from the TV. There is an antenna in the house, or on the top of the house, but we essentially just hooked up a smart TV and log into a lot of the services that we have in the United States, such as Amazon Prime and YouTube and Netflix. And it's really interesting. We get, most of the same content here in France. As far as water service is concerned, we are also very fortunate that we have mains water, just a water main basically coming from the street. And this is our water meter that comes to the house. And last year my water bill was 87 euros for the entire year. So we'll see what it is this year coming up in November. As far as our sewer system is concerned, we have a septic tank, and it's right under here. This right here is the vent pipe for the septic tank. And we've been told by the neighbors that the previous owner, she had to have it pumped out occasionally. So we're anticipating that we may need to get it pumped out, but so far in the almost 2 years that we've been here, we haven't had any problems with it at all. So we do have a septic tank that probably will require some maintenance. This is essentially the main source of heat in the wintertime for us, wood and fire. And this is a 12 kilowatt, I think, wood burner, and it works really well. So that is our main source of heat, aside from 3 other electric radiators that we just keep on to keep the sort of ambient temperature high enough. But we can get this room, we've gotten it up to like 28 degrees Celsius just by running this dang fireplace, which gets a little too hot. So yeah, so that's our main source of heat, and it works really well. So that's pretty much it as far as services for the house and utilities. There's not much to it. Water, electricity, fiber internet, and that pretty much provides all the things that we need for our little house here in France. If you have any other questions, let me know, and I'll see if I can answer them. Have a great day.